Hi, I'm Chris and this is another episode of the Crisscross Removals vlog. This is a working title. If anybody has any ideas of what to call the show, drop us a comment below. We'll be happy to hear. This week, I introduce you to some of the team members. We have some van maintenance issues and I get clamped while we're on a job trying to do some filming. It was a big pack and move, but let's go to the new episode. It's Monday morning and it's 9 o'clock and I'm not yet in the office. I woke up this morning and we only had a couple of small jobs on, one of which was cancelled late last night. So instead of going into the office at 7 a.m. this morning, I decided to get up and take the dog for a 5k run because it was part of my training program last week and I did not get it completed. This is the dilemma that I'm always caught in because obviously I'm the managing director, but I'm also acting operations manager as well. And the bulk of our operations work needs to go on in the morning time. You know, our morning checklists and, you know, prepping the equipment, things like that. That is all the role of the operations manager. So while my physical presence is needed there sometimes, other times it isn't. And this is the struggle that I know a lot of local business owners face. You know, do I really need to be there first thing in the morning and last thing at night to be checking up on everything? And because things get lost and, you know, things get missed, and if you don't have checklists and systems and procedures in place, then things will get missed. But as the operations manager, it's up to me to run those checklists. So it's a dilemma that a lot of people get caught in. And what tends to happen is I'll go in and I'll say, oh, I'll take the dog for a quick walk and then I'll go to the gym later on this afternoon. And then the day starts to get ahead of you. And then you never have an opportunity to get to the gym by the time you get home at night. You either have to really push yourself to go there, or you don't get going at all. And then if you don't end up going at all, then you just end up working till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, spinning your wheels, thinking you're getting things done, but you're not really. So I prefer to go to the gym first thing in the morning. Once I've got the gym and the dog walk out of the way, I can go in and I can focus on work. And normally by the time I've done all that, it's about 9, 10 o'clock. But at least I know from 10 until 5, my work is going to be focused. So at the moment, we are currently developing our operations manager training program and taking 2 of the guys through it so that they can split that role between them. Because, you know, with everything that's happening, the cost of living going up, the cost of materials, the cost of everything is going up at the minute. It's important that we keep on top of our equipment and our stock and make sure that we know where it's going and making sure that we know that everything that we have going out is either being paid for or accounted for. So that's the priority that we have at the moment. So the guys are currently taking the glue off the lorry so we can get it graphicked up. It's been really annoying me. We've had it for 6 months now and we have not yet got the graphics on it because it's been out working more or less every day, and they were going to charge us a ridiculous amount of money just to take the glue off. So we bought some specialist tar and glue remover. Guys are up there now and they're making serious progress with it already because we've got the right stuff to do the job. So I'm going to go up here now and I'm also going to introduce you to some of the team this week. You guys haven't really had a chance to meet the team. I'll introduce some team leaders and then of course Rebecca, our office administrator, and hopefully we'll get some footage of the jobs this week. So I'm on my way up there now, shouldn't be too long. So we've arrived at the yard and as expected, the tar and glue remover is doing a wonderful job. Or Aaron is doing a wonderful job, I should say. But the lorry is nearly halfway done and I cannot wait to get this thing signed up because it is really, really irritating me that it's still got Luke Edwards branding on it. Luke, you have now become famous in Northern Ireland because of our hard work and your brand on the side of our truck. So, and then James is just sorting out the van for the job this morning. So I'm going to attempt to get the forklift back into the warehouse. Somebody from the unit somebody from the complex wanted to borrow it, but I haven't drove one in a long time and I don't know how to work this one, so let's see what happens. Have you seen Tomas on it? No. He's a beast. Oh, there we go. There we go, successful. So on Mondays, a lot of the time, because I don't book surveys in on a Monday, a lot of times I'll just be, checking up on little things that I need to get caught up on. One of which is always van maintenance. So we'll do weekly van checks on all of our smaller vans. And the thing is, some of our fleet are what we call low loaders, and they're not Lutons. A Luton is slightly higher off the ground and usually has a tail lift to take some of the items up and down, whereas a low loader sits quite low to the ground, so you don't actually require a tail lift. Normally all you require is a small ramp, but the problem with that is sometimes with the low loaders, if they've got weight in the back of them, they go a little bit lower, and when you're trying to go up a steep driveway or back into a steep driveway, you're obviously having to go like that up the driveway, and because the back of it is so low, sometimes it'll end up hitting the pavement and it'll get a bit of damage on it. So one of our vans has 2 busted tail lights at the back. The light's still working, but we've had the cable tied on in the meantime until we get it fixed. Sometimes running vans can be the stupidest of things, can just cost you a load of money. So van maintenance is another big one, because we obviously, if we're moving furniture, doing heavy loads, we need to make sure that everything's in tip-top condition. But the main thing is, when you're operating a fleet of smaller vans, and this is something a lot of people don't know, they're only a small payload, so it's usually between 1 and 1.3 tons that you're allowed in the back of it because of vehicle regulations and payload regulations. So even though the van is quite big in terms of capacity, that doesn't mean you can load it from floor to ceiling, front to back, because you can only put around about a ton to 1.3 ton of a payload in it. So most of the jobs that we do, we'll have to send either 2, 3 or 4 of these vans to a job. So I really wanted to take this week to start to introduce you to a few members of the team, rather than just having to look at my face all the time. It'd be really nice to introduce you to some of the guys that work here, some of the guys you've probably spoke to if you've used us to move in the past. So beside me, I've got our, I would say, lead moving consultant, office manager, office administrator, whatever way you want to put it, Rebecca. So hi Rebecca, how are you?
Good, how are you?
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do here at Crisscross Removals?
Pretty much first point of contact. I get speaking with you, book you in to get a quote done. I mainly do all the video call surveys and put all the data, take payments, pretty much do all the behind the scenes to get all the paperwork ready for the guys in the morning.
And what's it like working here?
It's good crack. The guys definitely keep me going, but no, it's really chilled and the guys work hard, so it makes it easier for me because they're all good crack.
I didn't realise so many people were having so much fun under my watch. I may have to change that. And obviously you do a lot of the same thing as me. You do a lot of the surveys, but you do the video calls. So if you were to give one person who's watching a tip for moving right now, what would be your top tip?
Get ahead of packing and do a lot of decluttering.
Do a lot of decluttering. I stress that to all the customers as well. If you can get a good declutter and get a good pack done, your moving day is going to be really smooth. But yeah, so we'll hopefully see more about what Rebecca does over the next few weeks, and we'll start, obviously we're going to be tracking a lot of our day-to-day operations here, so you'll get to see much more of what goes on behind the scenes. Pretty slow day so far. We're actually ahead of schedule because all the jobs have been so small. We're like 2 hours ahead of schedule, so hopefully we'll be back in the office nice and early. So I'm going to introduce you to one of our team members, Aaron. I introduced you to Rebecca yesterday. Aaron's going to be learning how to do quotes alongside another team member. So how you going, Aaron? You well today?
Yeah, all good.
Good stuff, mate. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at Crisscross Removals?
Primarily a HGV driver. So I drive the big truck to and from jobs, along with furniture dismantling, reassembly, and then just the general moving and bits and pieces back and forward.
Aaron is the absolute king of furniture dismantling and reassembling. He does it with speed and accuracy, and nobody can quite understand how he does it. But if there's a wardrobe to be done, Aaron will figure it out. And what do I like to work for? Or what do we like to work for?
Crisscross as a whole, fantastic.
Good, that's what I like to hear.
I'd say probably one of the best removal companies that I have worked for.
It's very nice of you. I wish I had one of these cameras in every single van to see if everybody thought the same whenever I'm not there. What did you do before this, Aaron?
Primarily furniture delivery across Ireland. Galway, Limerick, Cork.
Yeah.
Delivering in the shops and customers' houses.
Very good, mate. And if anybody's watching here that is moving soon or thinking about moving with us, what will be your number one tip to give them in preparation for their move?
Prepare.
Okay.
You can't over prepare for moving.
And in terms of preparation, what would you say? Like, what would you mean by that?
Plenty of boxes, plenty of packing materials.
Basically the same thing that Rebecca said earlier, and the same thing you hear me talk about all the time. You know, people really underestimate the task of packing, and the better that you can get packed, if you have all boxes closed, sealed, labelled, all the small items in, it is going to make your day so much easier. And it's not even to make our day easier. Whenever you guys have to unpack, and if nothing's labelled, nothing's sealed, nothing's tidy, it's going to make unpacking an absolute nightmare. Anyway, we're off to do some quotes because we need to go out and make some money for the company. It's Friday, and that can only mean one thing, that it is our busiest day of the week at Crisscross Removals, except that it's not, because we had a cancellation 2 days ago, well, a postponement. So instead of giving a couple of guys the day off, I decided to put all hands on deck as we're going out for a bit of a team night out this evening. And the earlier we all get finished means that, and it's a lovely day outside, as you can probably see. So we're finishing up a little bit earlier, and we just wanted to obviously get everybody finished as early as possible. So we'll put a large team on the job to get it done. It was a full pack and move. So let's go and check out to see what the guys are up to. Now, I was there getting footage at the job, and I didn't get as much footage as I wanted because I went round to the car to get something, and it turned out my car had got clamped, and there was no signs or anything that was saying I was in a restricted zone or anything like that. But I was going to check my taxes and things because we've obviously moved office recently, and I only bought this car, you know, a couple of months ago. And I'm wondering, did the V5 logbook not arrive? And I'm wondering whether or not I got taxed or not. But anyway, I haven't got the V5 logbook anywhere, so it must have went to our old address. And yeah, so I've now had to drop everything I'm doing to go and get this form, to now bring it back to the post office and then go and get it taxed just to make sure. I'm normally up to date with these kind of things with the vans and stuff, because obviously we don't want the vans going out with no tax, so we get the renewal form every year to the office. In fact, I actually get them to my home address to make sure that I don't miss them. So I'm unsure of where this one went, but it is what it is. So anyway, that's a wrap for episode 2. Like, subscribe and share to see more content. We're having a team night out. See you soon.